Hey, my beautiful saucies. So today I'm going to talk about being an exotical and being raised monocultural in the Black community. And this video is inspired by Exoticals United's video. The differences, her video is entitled "The Differences Between Being Monocultural and Monoracial or Monocultural." So being raised multicultural and being raised monocultural as an exotical, but it's behind her members only page. So if you are a subby of hers, please join her Patreon at $4.99 a month. She definitely drops some real gems, so shout out to her. But I wanted to talk about being an exotical and being raised monocultural in the Black community. Now, as an exotical, we all know there's a difference between Blackistan and the Black community. We all know the Black community consists of very hardworking, resilient, strong, decent people who are working every day and being productive citizens and just kind of minding their own business. But then you have that Blackistan element who adds that extra, just kind of tarnishes the whole reputation and just makes it bad for everybody. So the Blackistan element will be what I'm talking about, because you have a lot of exoticals who are raised by very good, decent, hardworking Black families, and they come from good homes. But then you have some exoticals who are just hood as fuck and who have been raised by Blackistan or who have been highly influenced by Blackistan, and that's what I want to talk about. Because if you are an exotical, and I feel strange calling men exoticals, but if you are an MLS man or MLS woman and you grow up in the Black monocultural Black community, your self-esteem is the first thing people target. They try to make you feel ashamed, and not necessarily try, but they do to a lot of exoticals or MLS people when they're very, very young. They try to make you feel guilty and feel bad about having light skin or wavy hair, and they tell you early on to kind of let you know and to humble you and let you know that it's not a flex, that your light skin comes and your wavy hair and your white or quote unquote white European or keen features comes from the white slave master that raped your grandmother. So by the time they get done with you chipping away at your appearance and chipping away at your self-esteem as an MLS person, you will be self-hating. Your self-esteem will fall very, very low. And you will want to have dark-skinned children when you get older. And there's nothing wrong with having dark-skinned children or having light-skinned children, but it's done in a way that's intentional so that you can breed out your light skin. And it's done from a self-hating type of spirit. So that's what I'm talking about, where your self-esteem is being attacked by Blackistan, the Blackistan portion of the Black community. I'm not talking about the Black community as a whole, but Blackistan will make you feel like there's something wrong with you. They'll constantly tear you down, make you understand that you don't fit in, you're not like me, I'm Black, I'm authentic, you're just you're light skinned, you're soft, you're not really real. And they put you in these different positions where they feel like you have to prove yourself in a way that's very, very toxic and that's very, very damaging, that's risky. You could risk your life, you could be killed, you could be, because they put you in these situations where you have to prove yourself. And usually by proving yourself, quote unquote, means violence. It means being hard. It means going to, beat somebody's ass or fighting or whatever to prove your Blackness to them. So, and in that way, where you are placed in a position to constantly prove yourself, that shows that person how much you pedestalize dark-skinned people. And there is nothing wrong with pedestalizing what looks like you, but if you're dark-skinned, you should definitely pedestalize dark-skinned people or pedestalize that phenotype. But if you are mixed race, or if you are biracial or light-skinned or Creole, that's who should be on your internalized pedestal. That should be your internalized beauty standard. That's who you should try to make more of, children in your image. You should not be ashamed of your light skin or your being your biracial heritage or multi-generational heritage. or be self-hating or pedestalizing anything else that looks like anybody else but you. So when you're very, very young, the Blackistan element will tell you that you need to be ashamed of your light skin and your wavy hair, because that's not black. That comes from some white slave owner that impregnated your or raped your grandmother. Another common thing that a lot of exoticals will have to experience being monocultural would be confrontation from the black community. A lot of times, a lot of the interactions with the black community, and I'm not going to say, of course, not all, I would say a third of the time, or maybe even half of the time, and unambiguous dark-skinned black people know what the fuck I'm talking about. So please don't get up in my comment section acting brand new like you don't know how toxic this damn community is. You know good and fucking well what the fuck I'm talking about. It's confrontational as fuck. So the majority of the time, I'll say maybe a third of the time or half of the time, you're gonna have to deal with confrontation. I'm not sure if it's more for exoticals. I'm pretty much leaning toward it might be more confrontation directed at exoticals or MLS people than unambiguous dark-skinned black people. But it seemed like every single interaction you have with the Blackistan element is confrontational. You could be like, I remember I was pulling into a Walmart, and it was two spaces that was free. Two spaces. And they were close by the door, so I pulled into one of them. I guess this other chick saw the one of the spaces, and she raced around there to pull into that one space, but it was one sitting right next to it. It was like 2 or 3 spaces that were free. I just pulled into the one that was closest to the door. The bitch pulled up, stopped her vehicle, let her window down, and started talking shit towards me, because she told me basically she saw that spot first, and who the fuck was I thought I was to go pulling my ass up in the spot because she saw it first. And I'm thinking, girl, if you don't get your ass out of my face, because it's a parking space. There's 2 other ones next to it, and anyway, a parking space does not warrant all of that. But that was a Blackistan chick who felt entitled and felt that I needed to move because she saw the space first. Another story I have for you was when I was coming home from work. I used to work afternoons about maybe 10 years ago at my old job. And so I was coming home at around 11 o'clock. I got off at 11 or 11:30, but it was pretty late, probably 11:30, almost 12. So I turned down one of these side residential street. And I'm just putting along in my little at the time little soccer mom minivan, and I turned left onto this little side residential street, and this big white full-size van was behind me, and they pulled down the same street. They were behind me for a little while before I turned, and I'm thinking like, damn, that's a rowdy crowd, because it was a lot of people in that full-size van. You could tell because you just saw heads, like a lot of heads in, through the windows, through the windshield. So I was low-key thinking, well, maybe if I turn down this residential side street, because not only is it a shortcut home, but it's a way for me to shake this van, because they were blasting music, and they were it was just a lot of people. They were really, really turned. So I turned left down this little side street. They turned right behind me down the same side street. So I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? But when they turned down the side street, they rolled my bumper. They were on my ass, damn near in the back seat with me. And I'm thinking, why are they riding so close? What the fuck is this about? So I pull over to the side of the curb to let them go around me, since they seemed like they were in such a hurry. Them fuckers pulled over too. Now I'm really shook. Like, what is happening? It's late at night. Y'all are being extra like rowdy inside the van. I could see the heads and everybody, bobbing their heads to this loud ass music. It's late as hell, and then you guys are gonna stop behind me too. What is happening? So they just sit there for a couple of seconds, I guess, to prove a point, because I don't know if they were triggered by the fact that I pulled over so that they can go around me. I don't know what the hell was going on. So they pull around me and pull over around me to where they were in the middle of the street, and they were right next to my vehicle. The lady, or this broad, or this thing I'm not gonna call her a lady, it was a female in the front seat, front passenger seat, rolled her window down, said something to me, and then took a McDonald's cup full of some liquid. I don't know what the hell was in this cup, probably pop or something else. And she threw the shit on my car. And they speed off. They drove off. So I don't know what triggered them, what was wrong with them, what their problem was, but this was just so random. It was so late at night, it kind of shook me a little bit. And I just really don't, even to this day, don't understand what the hell that interaction was supposed to be about. Are you supposed to try to demonstrate how tough you are? Are you trying to demonstrate how big and bad you are? Because that's another thing that Blackistan has bad. They always try to prove how big and bad they are. And it's like you want to be big and bad until it's time to be big and bad. Because that kind of stuff only shows how weak you are. You would never take your ass out there to a white community and do that kind of shit, because you already know that the police are on every corner waiting for you to show your ass. So you know that, and you don't want to catch a case. So you pull that shit in your own communities. I'm talking about the Blackistan element. Pulls that shit into their own communities, making it hard on everybody else, making people afraid, making people not want to come out late at night because of stuff like that. Interactions and carjackings and shootings and all kind of rowdy fights and stuff going on at gas stations. People go in at a certain time, and they go in for a reason. So being exotical in the black community or with Blackistan, dealing with Blackistan is definitely not and it's not even, you don't even have to be an exotical black, working black people know what I'm talking about. They know exactly what I'm talking about. Another thing with being monocultural is that you cannot have any individuality. You cannot be your true authentic self being in Blackistan. Everybody has to bow down to this toxic black culture and this toxic black mentality and be on par with that. And the toxic black culture and black mentality that I'm talking about is a confrontational type of mentality, is a clownish type of mentality, a buffoonish type of mentality, a very flashy, loud, aggressive type of mentality. Like Blackistan rules the entire black community. They set the tone, they set the culture, and you have to bow down. It's almost like it's a cult. Like if you deviate or if you are not loyal to the culture, you literally will get like people ready to put their hands on you. Like, look at the Exoticals. The Exoticals, this community, with our content, we have caught death threats. People threatening bodily harm, threatening to dox us because we're saying some pretty controversial shit. And a lot of people are trying to get us to like, show your face, show your face. Well, yeah, but we'd like to. Maybe some of us would like to, but we say some pretty, it's pretty dangerous right now to kind of, show who we are, because you have people who really, really don't like what we have to say. Blackistan cannot be held accountable for anything or criticized or told the truth about anything or called out about anything. You better not dare tell them that a lot of their suffering is due to being self-inflicted. A lot of them want to subscribe to a struggle narrative. No matter how privileged you are, how rich you are. I even heard Whoopi Goldberg trying to come off like she was struggling, like she's some struggling working person, as if she's not like the top paid A-list actress on the planet. Like she's trying to like identify with that whole I'm a working person type of narrative, and basically got laughed at because she's out of touch. And so, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're black, you still have to kind of like subscribe to that struggle narrative. You have to be relatable. You have to like uplift that degenerate element of the black community in order to be accepted, in order to be embraced. Especially if you are an exotical, especially if you're light skinned, you really have to prove yourself in order to be considered quote unquote black. That's why you have a lot of mulattoes and a lot of black people, a lot of light skinned people, biracial people who are basically trying to wake us up, MLS people up, and let MLS people know and make MLS people understand that you are different. You are different. You cannot relate to unambiguous dark skinned black people. You have a different set of experiences. You have a different set of privileges. You have a different life is different for you. You have a different perspective on things. And so, like, black people used to get very, very angry. They still get angry at the Creoles and the light-skinned people who separated themselves back in the day. But there was a reason why they did that. And I'm not necessarily saying it's right or that it's good, but, well, hold on. Maybe I am saying it's right and it's good. Because, I mean, look at the abuse you get. You're told ever since you're little that you are black and that you are light skinned because you're a product of rape, but you're light skinned, and you're told that you're just simply light skinned but you're black. So you've been socialized and raised to believe you are black. You've been raised to identify as such. And then when you get older and then you really like try to fit in, people let you know that you are not black or you're not black enough. So you grew up very confused. Because even a lot of people in the black community do know that MLS people are different. They tell you you're different every chance they get. They look at you differently. They know you have a different set of experiences. They know that you have a different perspective on life, or different, you're treated differently. Not necessarily always better, but you're definitely treated differently. And they know that. You're the only one that don't know that. You're the only one that has been raised and socialized to think that there's no difference, to think that you're black and you're just as authentic as the next black person, you're just a little lighter. That's what you've been told. So that's how you think, that's how you feel, that's how you look at it. But that's not the truth, because once you get to be an adult, in a lot of cases they don't even wait until you're an adult. They try to humble you when you're a kid, try to tell you you're not cute, you're not pretty, you're square, you're this, you're that, or you ain't this or you ain't that. So you're definitely treated differently. You're definitely targeted more in the black community by kids and adults. So, you have a lot of unambiguous dark-skinned black people that have made videos and shorts and TikToks basically talking about targeting MLS people, knowing that we are not the same, knowing that we are different. And they target us because we are different, to pimp us out, make us into single mothers, single out the men, talking about they little beige niggas that gotta like prove themselves to me because you're a mulatto, you're not really black, so you gotta prove yourself, so you gotta go the extra mile, you gotta be extra hard, you gotta be extra toxic, extra confrontational. And that ruins a person for any chances of social climbing later on. That takes away your privileges as an MLS person and makes you pretty much bottom shelf in your behavior and your mentality. Just like the Blackistan element, they know that their spot in life or lot in life is fucked up, so they want to fuck yours up too. And I'm talking about Blackistan. I'm not talking about the regular black community, but Blackistan rules the black community, that Blackistan element. And a lot of good, decent working people who are black have Blackistan tendencies, too. So, they're influenced by some Blackistan individuals in the family or in their friendship circles or at work. And it's just like when that movie ATL, when you have that girl Nunu who wanted to, she grew up rich, and she has a rich daddy, and she's privileged and rich, and she's light skinned, so she there's a set of privileges that come with that too. But she was like, she would, like, after school hours, she would go and dress in these like what could be considered trendy or hood type of clothes or hood type of earrings, or do her hair in a hood type of style, and sneak down to the lower class cities in Atlanta and go hang out with the lower class kids. And she was just trying to socialize and maybe connect with her quote unquote black side, because in Blackistan, privileges and riches and having money and having an advantage is definitely taboo. So the way the movie and the storyline was delivered was that the father was crazy and that Nunu was right. Like, she was portrayed as someone who just wanted to connect with her black side, and her dad was just a pompous, rich asshole that forgot who he was. And the truth of the matter is he didn't want her hanging out in that area because he knows how toxic Blackistan is. So, I mean, a lot of people would not like it if you say that, but that's the truth, though. I mean, they know it, and you know it too. He wants his daughter to have a bright future, and going there, having a boyfriend in Blackistan, the boyfriend is not necessarily going to respect her or her body. A lot of times, you know, guys target young women like that, especially if they have potential to go somewhere in life, especially if he knows that she comes from a rich family. So him having her heart and her thinking that she's in love with him is particularly dangerous, because he could have the potential to fuck her life up with single motherhood, or low self-esteem, or, you know, abuse, or whatever else may come out of Blackistan. Like, her dad came from Blackistan, so he knows exactly what's there, and that's why he got out of it. So a lot of people would be offended by that, but who gives a fuck? I mean, feel free to block me, because that's the truth, and a lot of people know that that's the truth. And also, you cannot be an individual. You can't be walking around as a black person embracing the gothic culture or the gothic look, or having like one of those little teeny tiny colorful little smart cars, and having your house decorated with all different kinds of posters and stickers and different colors. You know, you can't get rid of your grass and just have something different, or have a different look to your house, or a different kind of way that you dress. Like, you can't be a nerd in Blackistan. You can't be overly smart in Blackistan. You can't be overly, like, you can't be rich in Blackistan. You can't be physically fit in Blackistan. You all have to be a certain kind of way, with a certain kind of way you think, and a certain kind of mentality. Like, every single body in Blackistan, like, everybody has to smoke weed. Everybody has to talk trash. Everybody has to be confrontational. Like, all these different personalities, and all of these different characters, and all of these different kinds of mindsets, and different kind of mentalities, everybody's on the same, like, wavelength in Blackistan. Like, it's like a cult. And if you deviate and you don't bow down to this culture, and you deviate from that culture and dare to be different, you will be ostracized, ridiculed, and targeted for violence. Literally, somebody in Blackistan would want to put their hands on you if you are too different. So that's why a lot of people who are hardworking and productive move out of Blackistan, or move to the more decent side of the black community, where the Blackistan element is not really that prominent, like I did. Like, I'm still in the black community. I just don't live around Blackistan a lot. Or I should say, have a lot of influence from Blackistan. I see it, and I see the Blackistan element on a regular basis, but it doesn't really influence where I live at. Not too much. It's there, but it's not too much. So yeah, those are the reasons why I feel like to be an exotical and be monoracial is a much different experience from being multicultural. Again, like I said, check out that video, and definitely subscribe to Exoticals United's Patreon, and look at her videos. So like I said, she dropped some gems, so shout out to my EU. And that is my video. I love you, love you, love you. To all my beautiful subbies, big hugs. And I'm so glad that you are here listening. I'm so glad you enjoy my content. And thank you for listening to the video. Don't forget to comment, like, and share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time.